everybody, this is Sharon for Just Fishing. Weather's not too good today, so I thought I'd do another info vid. And today we're going to take a look at the ratings of fishing line in different countries. Now this may come as a shock that not all fishing lines are rated the same way as we do here in North America. In North America, we rate our fishing line by the strength, the stress breaking point of that line with the pound notation. I'm talking about pounds test. And by the way, that stress breaking point is usually lower than what it says on the package or what the line's being marketed for. So for example, 10 pounds test, if it says 10 pound test on the spool, it's probably going to break around 9, maybe 9.5. It can be anywhere from a half a pound to 3/4 and sometimes an entire pound difference, because there is no industry standard in the manufacturing of fishing line here in North America. Matter of fact, there's no universal standard either in any other country. So what am I saying that the ratings are different? Well, different marketplaces from different continents or countries are different. For example, United Kingdom, though they use the pound notation for fishing line, they heavily lean on the diameter. They use the millimeter when they're talking about fishing line in a lot of cases. If you watch some of these fishing shows from the UK, they'll talk about, 0.235 or whatever millimeter line. You go over to continental Europe, they'll refer to it in kilos, which is the average breaking point of the line. And then we get to Asia, which is a different kettle of fish altogether, pardon the pun. Now, if you order a product like I do sometimes from these websites that may be based in the United States or in Canada, but the product comes from places like Japan and China, you're going to notice a huge difference in the line classification. Now, I've seen many times on YouTube, and probably you have too, people doing product comparisons. And they're saying, oh, don't buy from this website, it comes from China, it's real crap, it's not worth the money, it's breaking way before it says it does. That's not necessarily true. What's happening is that person is judging the product by preference and not by performance, because they haven't done their homework to understand the differences in the way the line is rated. Now, since most of this product comes from Japan and China, and you're probably saying, why are you talking about this, Sharon? Well, because last month I received some fishing line that I ordered from one of the sites that I use. And I ordered a 6-pound test line. What I thought was 6-pound test by our standard. This line was sent from Japan. But when I looked at the specs on it, the little English that's on here, it told me that the diameter was 0.208, but it says 6-pound test. Now we know here in North America that is a 4-pound test line. And this is where people get confused and they say, well, it's inferior because it's not breaking around 6 pounds. It's breaking just under 4, just over 4 pounds. That's because by their standard, it is a 6-pound test by Japanese standards, but by North American standards, it's only a 4-pound test. So how do I explain this to you a little, so you understand it? Because you're thinking, well, a pound's a pound, a millimeter is a millimeter, a kilo's a kilo. Yes, it is, but it's the way they calculate the diameter of the line. Now, I'm talking about nylon line. I'm not talking about fluorocarbons, and I'm not talking about braid. But in places like China and Japan and Taiwan, they take the method of rating silk and apply it to the method of rating nylon fishing line. And there's where your difference is. And I'm going to show you something on the whiteboard. And by the way, I've got notes here because this is confusing. If you can see what I have here on this whiteboard, let's take a look at this up here. This is the average math formula that is used to determine the diameters of nylon, which is also used to determine the diameter of fishing line. Now what they do is they take a standard length, a measured length of line, they weigh it, and then they take the weight and they use this calculation up here to determine the average diameter of the fishing line. Now if you go onto these websites and you're looking at their weights and their ratings for fishing line, because you're placing your order, you might notice bracket JP close bracket beside the pound denomination and the millimeter denomination. If you see that, that is the Japanese rating for that fishing line. If you see open bracket USA close bracket beside the pound and the millimeter denominations, that is the North American standard fishing line, which we're used to in this part of the world. So, well, how do you determine that you're getting the fishing line you want? Well, in the description of this video, I'm going to include a link that was published by a gentleman by the name of David Walker. And it was published in a newspaper called the Tenkara Times. And it is a table. Here's, I don't know if you can see it, but here it is here, but I'm going to put it in the link. It's probably one of the most comprehensive tables published to date, comparing the Japanese rating to the North American rating. Now, they've got it here as USA, but it's a North American rating. So, for example, 10-pound test, as we understand 10-pound test, has a diameter of 0.254. No, sorry, 0.305. If you go over to the other side here, to the Japanese ratings, a diameter of 0.305 is 16-pound test by their rating. So you need to understand what it is you're looking for. So if you see the JP besides the ratings, beside those ratings, and you're ordering 10-pound test, you're probably going to get an 8-pound test rating by our standard. And this is where the confusion comes in when people are buying from these sites that are from places like Asia, that ship from places like Asia, because they are manufacturing this product for their market. If it's being manufactured for export to the North American market, then it will be at our standards and our rating. There's where the difference is. You're not getting a cheap product. You're getting a product at their rating, at the foreign market rating. And that's what people do not understand. So go to one of these charts. Like I said, I'm going to include the link in the description. And it's entitled TenkaraTimes.com, Tenkara Tutorial, Tenkara Lines Japanese to Western Scale. All right? And it will show you the Japanese scale versus the North American scale or the Western scale, so that you can determine by diameter what line it is you want. So if you want 10-pound test, you know it's 0.305. You're going to have to order close to 16-pound test in the Japanese scale to get the same diameter. Likewise, if you want a 6-pound test, you're going to have to order something close to an 8-pound test by our standards. Sorry, if you want 6-pound test by our standard, you're going to have to order close to an 8-pound test by their standard to get the same diameter. And that's where the confusion comes in. And when people are doing their ratings here on YouTube, I'm not going to mention any names, you're entitled to your opinion, they are not doing their homework. They're saying, oh, it's cheap line, it's breaking way before. And by the way, as I said before, no matter what it says on the packaging, the line is going to break prior to that anyway, because, again, there is no industry standard for fishing line, for the manufacturing of fishing line. Matter of fact, there is no universal standard either, okay? So I hope that explains some of the differences and some of the confusion when you're buying from these websites, all right? It's not to North American specs. In a lot of cases, it's to Japanese or Asian specs, so you need to get yourself a copy of this chart, go on my link that I'm providing, and that way you can do a side-by-side comparison. So I hope I've cleared that up for you. Clear as mud, right? Anyway, just thought I'd put that out there so that you have a little understanding. Once again, thank you to my new subscribers. And hey, pass on the info, subscribe, like, share. Again, I will be doing the shout out at the end of this video for subscribers to my channel to say hi to them, check them out, subscribe to them as well. You know, we all need to help one another. And until the next time, this is Sharon for Just Fishing. I want to say tight lines.